Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Graff, and welcome to Tackle Talk Live. Sitting to my left, my partner in crime tonight will be the one and only V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. Kev, how you doing, buddy?
Glad to be back. Another evening edition of Tackle Talk Live.
That's right, a rare evening edition.
Let me turn you volume down here.
We gotta silence me.
There we go.
And so now we're good to go. Hey, and by the way, we want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in tonight. We really do appreciate it. And we will be getting back to our 12 o'clock noon time frame here pretty quick. So, and just want to let you know, we know a lot of people were tuning in for one reason, and Kevin and I are just as disappointed as you're going to be. We will not be able to announce the new announcement that we had for tonight, the big news on a new tournament trail, but it will be taking place hopefully within the next week.
And it's not that it's not happening. No,
it's happening.
This is a go. This tournament trail, it's an individual pro circuit that it is a go. They're just fine-tuning some details before they will let us fully announce what is going on and their schedule and so on and so forth. It's still coming, as we told you it was, but they are still fine-tuning some things. My understanding, Steve, just not ready to release everything yet. Yeah, the owner of this circuit is kind of little just not quite ready. There's some details, and anytime you start something new, sometimes things slow down just a little bit, and they want to make sure everything's right before they put it out there for the public. So hopefully the next show, one thing we might, Kevin and I hadn't even talked about this, just an idea I'm going to throw at him right now. We may even do a special edition. If we get word, say Thursday, that this is happening and he's ready, we may just do a special edition. We will make sure we post it. That's why you need to subscribe so you'll make sure you get a heads up that, hey, we're fixing to make a big announcement. And as soon as they give us the green light that, hey, we're ready to announce this thing, we're going to bring it to you guys.
Tonight we got a really good show. Clayton Boulware, one of Albert Collins' team partners, a great angler off Sam Rayburn. Clayton's going to be joining us. He fished the Outlaw Team Championship. He's going to give us a report, kind of a wrap up that event for us. They finished as a runner up in that event. We'll get his take as to what it took at Sam Rayburn, how they caught him, what's going to take for the Sealy this weekend. We'll talk about that as well. And Kevin and I will give our 2 cents as to what we might do, how we might attack the Sealy event coming up as well. And we just go ahead.
Well, for those that are fishing the Sealy Outdoors this coming week, I know it's probably the biggest tournament of the year this coming weekend, so I know there's going to be a lot of boats on the water. I'm hoping those people are tuning in to hear what Clayton has to say. I don't know of anybody else any better to have than probably Albert Collins or Clayton Boulware on to preview the biggest tournament on the year in Sam Rayburn. So guys that are probably on the water more than anybody else over at Sam Rayburn, have the most knowledge. So having Clayton on to give you guys a breakdown of the lake, what's going on, it's pretty tough over there right now, kind of what's going on and maybe how he would approach it. And we'll give him our question of the day and see what he says, how he would handle that situation. Also, I mean, and let's not go without talking about the winners of the Outlaw Outdoors Team Series Championship. Danny Isles, Brian Shook, total weight, 2-day weight of 42 pounds, 87 ounces. Steve, on day 2, they weighed in 31.5 pounds.
Right.
On day 2, which it is, guys. I mean, day 1, they had 11 pounds.
Right.
So, I mean.
And we're going to talk more about that as we get into the show. Real quick, we're going to go ahead and recognize all of our sponsors. And by the way, we just picked up 2 new sponsors. Kevin did a great job. He's going out there, and we thank you for responding. Again, if you want to contact us, check us out on Facebook. Message Kevin, message us on Facebook. We'll make sure we get you a packet out there. And we're picking up 2 new ones tonight. But the original guys, the Boat Shop, Raymond Kidd and his staff, thank you. 3J's 4-Way, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Pride Rides, and the 2 newest ones, Kevin.
Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Keith's Tackle. It's located at 6302 State Highway 21 East, right there in Hemp Hill, Texas, just across Pendleton Bridge. So as soon as you go across Pendleton Bridge, right there at the Carice Creek Public Boat Ramp, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle right there. Stop in for the latest fishing report from Ben or Keith, and shop all the right tackle to make your trip to Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn a success. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing or white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiner, Keith has you covered.
The next one we just picked up this week, the Lakes Insurance Agency. The Lakes Insurance is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, recreational, vehicle, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore, a local guide and tournament angler, understands your insurance needs as a boat owner. For your insurance needs, give him a call for a free quote. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling, Site 3, Nacogdoches, Texas. Or you can give him a call at 936-205-4467. That's 936-205-4467. I'm sure a lot of y'all were writing that down right then. So, but anyway, that's our two newest sponsors, and we're going to cover more about the other ones here later on in the show. But real quick, we're going to go ahead and get to the phone line with Clayton Boulware. Clayton, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm wonderful. It's Monday, and I've got a work day down. It means there's 3 more left. I'll be finished for the week.
There you go. And that means you're going to be on the water, I bet.
Absolutely be on the water. Actually, I'm going to take off Friday.
I think
he probably headed for the woods.
I fixing to say, I bet you're taking off with all them boats coming over for the Sealy.
Well, I am taking off Friday, but, I'm fishing Toyota the week after, so I'll actually be back on the water Saturday, but doing some really, really, really off-the-wall stuff that I can promise you I still won't see many boats.
Oh, well, that's interesting to hear. Well, and as we alluded to before you come on, Clayton and his partner Albert Collins finished second in the Outlaw Team Series Championship with a 2-day weight of 35 pounds, 0.68 ounces. The most consistent team by far.
That's what I was just looking
had
at.
18 pounds on day one,
Yeah.
17 on day two. Y'all, I mean, and Clayton and me and you saw each other at Rambo Outdoors last week, and we talked a little bit. And the lake is just fishing super tough right now.
Man, it is brutal. I've seen it this tough one more time, and I believe it was in '97 when the fish kill occurred.
Yeah.
That's the only other time I have seen the lake at this tough of a fishing state.
Yeah. Clayton, are you attributing that? Has the pressure finally caught up to Sam Rayburn?
Dude, it's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable, the pressure. And to answer your question, I totally believe 85% of it is nothing more than the fish are just getting beat to death.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, let's jump a little bit into this past weekend's tournament here, Clayton. So, and I know you had your 2 official practice days, Thursday and Friday. Y'all could not be on the water any before that. I know you fished. I think Albert fished the BFL last weekend as well, correct?
Yes. No, Albert did not. Albert did not fish the BFL. He opted out. He spent some more time looking at some stuff that we were going maybe out this weekend.
Okay.
And he's preparing for a regional Bass Nation deal on Toledo.
Gotcha.
That he's trying to qualify back for the Classic.
Gotcha.
Right. So he spent some time over there.
Gotcha. All right, so you fished the BFL on Saturday. I know y'all was off limits Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you got back out on practice Thursday and Friday. Kind of give us a breakdown here of how practice went Thursday and Friday. Did things change from what last weekend, the BFL, or so on and so forth?
Absolutely nothing changed. I mean, I had a spot Thursday morning. I talked to Albert, and I got a structure spot. I said, hey, I'm going to hit it first. And they haven't been there, okay? They haven't been there in the morning time. And I hit it in the first 10 minutes. I shook 2 off. And it's a spot that if you catch one, it's the right one. So, I shook 2 off. And so then I started the rest of the day, and I had 3 more bites total on Thursday. And they were random bites.
Wow.
No pattern, no nothing. One on a new 6 cents wake speed wake, and a couple on a I'm not trying to think now. I think the Texas rig worm, but nothing, absolutely nothing else to go with that. And then Friday, back on the water, I had I really killed him Friday. I had 2 bites, and it's one of them deals. I spent 4 hours in the grass Thursday morning after I started deep, and I got 0 bites, and that confirmed what I knew, that the grass bite still was not there.
And I cannot believe that. It is beautiful grass.
The grass is beautiful. This time of year, the water temperature, we're down to 73 to 76. And at this time of year, they should be crushing a wake bait. They should be crushing a big swim bait over the top of it. No, nothing. I mean, nothing. Not even a whopper bite when the wind picked up. And So that told me what I needed to know to get away from the grass. And, Albert had a few bites on Thursday, probably 3 or 4. I had, I had the 5, and then Friday I think he had 3 or 4 bites, and I had 2. But, saying all that, the things we practiced on, other than the one spot I started on Thursday morning, we didn't go to anything we thought we would use in 2 tournament days.
Right.
Yeah.
You just can't. Right now, as tough as it is, you just got to have a confidence, have the confidence that, hey, if I get a bite, I got to catch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Clayton, what I'm seeing, I know in the BFL when I was pre-fishing, a lot of guys were actually catching fish that are tournament guys. And I'm like, as tough as it is, you would think that they'd have hook guards, bend that hook down, don't be hooking fish. But I just think even practicing, guys are catching fish and sore mouthing fish. And you're like, you wonder why they don't bite on tournament day.
Absolutely.
That just makes it tough. So y'all not going to some of your primary stuff is
no, sir.
Probably the best move you could have made, because once people see, especially you or Albert, they know who y'all are. It doesn't take them but one time to see you there, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, so much for that spot.
And that's what I was fixing to say. The sport is, I love the sport. Absolutely love the sport, live and die for it. But the lack of respect that has matured over the last 5 years in the sport, it's sad. It's very, very, very sad. If I didn't love it so much, it'd make a man want to quit.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, you can't really be seen on anything, or if you do, you might as well write it off. Now, I'll say that to say this: we get seen on a lot of stuff. That's what we're there for, is to be seen.
After you go catch him, you got to go get seen a little bit.
So you're trying to. So are you saying you'll? Right. So you're saying you will actually set somebody up?
So no, what he's saying is when you see him at noon around the bridge and everything, and making his little rounds, him and Albert, they want to make sure everybody sees them.
Exactly.
So
that's what I mean. They're setting somebody else up for failure.
Well, man, it's like I tell anyone, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay?
Yeah.
If somebody asks me, hey, what did you catch your fish on? I'm gonna tell you what I caught my fish on. Now, if they ask me, hey, where'd you catch those? I'm gonna politely say, I can't tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
The true guys in the sport, they don't ask that question.
No.
They don't ask that question.
Right.
Well, Clayton, so we and you kind of went into it a little bit there, but now take us through tournament days. When you actually did get to hit your good stuff. Did the bite get better? Did we get a several bites, or did we have 5 or 6 keeper bites all day?
Yeah, was it early bite?
No, okay. The spot I told you I shoot 2 off on in practice, that was our starting spot. We knew that because it's kind of the closest one we have. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And that's still a 30-minute boat ride. But I caught each day. I caught. We would catch the first morning. Our first fish was a 568 on about, or 558, whatever it was, on about the first 10 minutes there. Knew the spot would be good for maybe 1 bite. We got it, and we told ourselves that morning we need 1 bite off this spot, and we'll be okay. Pull in there, we get it, and then we start running stuff. We we probably run 8 or 10 spots of a stick in the water, this, that. We don't fish brush piles. We very rarely you see us fishing brush piles unless we're trying to upgrade something huge. But we ran some stuff, and we caught another keeper, and it's like, okay, we got 7 pounds at 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're still okay, and then we hit one little deal between 10:30 and 11:20, and we caught 3 good ones, 3 to 3.5, 3 3/4 pounds apiece, and that gave us our 5. And we know, okay, we're fine. And at 11:20, when we caught that 5th keeper, we left what we had and didn't touch anything else and started back down trying to find a big one. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get the bite. We had 2 bites after that, and I caught a 35-pound op or so about a 35-pound op out of a brush pile on the way back down, and we had 1 short fish after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Clayton, I know what Albert likes to do. I mean, he's a big worm guy. Have you had to downsize and Ned rigs? Have you had to drop shot? Has the fishing gotten so tough you've had to really lighten up a little bit?
Dude, that's absolutely cuss words to us right there.
I knew that, but I had to ask the question anyway.
Man, I have 3 spinning rods in my shop out there that's ready to go if I have to go to a Clearwater lake, but I'd have to clean the spider webs off of them right now if I wanted to use them.
You sound like
answer
me.
your question, absolutely. We have not changed anything up from what we usually do.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, we just realized the number of bites have went way down, and we know when we get that bite, we got to catch it.
Right.
But no, we have not downsized. We have not changed. Albert has taught me that if you throw that worm and you stick with it and you got confidence, you're going to be okay. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
Now, we vary some stuff. We vary some colors. We vary a little bit of, we'll throw a football jig some. I'll throw a great big stand-up jig head with some big worms on it. Occasionally that'll trigger a different bite. But as far as going to something totally different this year, no, we have not.
But you're probably really having to manage your fish, Clayton, especially like a 2-day event. Like you said,
Sure.
Y'all caught your 5th one and you're out. You're not fishing anything else. That's sad to say on Sam Rayburn that you have to manage your 5th when you get your 5th keeper.
Yeah.
And this is true, and it's just like when I fished the Open a couple weeks back. I knew when I got to that 15-pound mark, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I knew on day 2 when I got to the 15-pound mark, man, I need one more big one to fish Saturday, and it just never did happen. But this is not what a typical Rayburn. We're used to catching 20, 25 keepers, and and going through 3.5 pounders, throwing them back till you get to that 4-pounder. We're not used to getting the 5 bites and having what you have and say, we're okay.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not go hit some of our stuff.
Clayton, another thing, everybody, of course, it's just like the spawn. As anglers, we tend to rush everything. They ought to be on beds. It's that time, and we tend to rush everything. The fall migration, are we still rushing that as well? Because they just seem to not have migrated to the creeks. I know in the BFL a couple of weeks ago, I found fish halfway in the creek, found fish in the back of the creek, and I'm like, good God, you couldn't pattern nothing, and it was just brutal. And I'm like, what are they waiting on? This week, and it's supposed to.
So random right now. And I don't know if you noticed the size of the shad. They're microscopic compared to what we usually are.
Yeah.
Usually we have shad that are, somewhere around the size of a half-ounce rattle trap.
Right.
Give or take a little bit.
Right.
These shad that I'm seeing are not much bigger than the small blades on an Alabama rig.
No, you're right.
The little bitty blades. And there's a lot of them, and they're from halfway back all the way back, but the fish just, they're just not there yet.
No.
This time of year, you should be able to pull in the back of a drain that's grassed up, and even flipping or throwing a top water early. You should catch at least keepers. It's not happening.
What's that going to do this week? The weather warms back up again. We're getting back to that mid-80s again, to whereas we've been in that 70s mark. How is that going to affect is it going to slow the migration down again, or what is it? Is it going to be enough to make a difference?
Man, I really don't think so, because we're at the time of year where the days are shorter. Mm-hmm. So you don't have near as much radiant heating throughout the day with the sunshine.
Right.
So in the 80s, where the water temperature, like I say, 73, 76, you don't have enough radiant heating throughout the day to bring that water temperature back up more than a degree or a degree and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's gonna hurt us. It may not help us, but it's not gonna hurt us. It's just gonna
it's not gonna get any worse.
Slow things down even more.
Right. Clayton, I want to pick your brain here. Before we get into today's question of the day, I want to ask you last week's question of the day that we had on last week. How much pressure is too much pressure on brush pile fish? And here's why I'm asking this. This year, especially between June to October, if you wasn't throwing in a brush pile, you wasn't winning. At what point is the Sam Rayburn fish going to be like, the heck with this? Because they're getting idled over every 5 minutes.
Yes.
At what point does it get to? I mean, if the grass, thankfully we're getting some grass in the lake, but if the grass doesn't survive through the winter and we don't have grass next year, and it's the same thing on these brush piles, I just don't know how much. I don't know if the fish will go through it another year and still be in them brush piles. Does it make sense?
It does. It does. And as I alluded to earlier, we really hate fishing brush piles.
Right.
for that simple reason. We fish God-made stuff, and people say, well, why do you fish, why don't you fish piles? And it's like I tell everyone, and me and Alberts agree. If it's something that God made and put in that water, a hard spot, a rock, a root or something, those fish come there every year.
It ain't going nowhere either.
Man puts there, they may or may not show up.
Right.
Because those hard spots aren't going anywhere. I mean, they're going to be there no matter what.
No, that's correct.
So,
that's correct. But the brush piles, man. In a typical answer to your question, there's the one pile that I believe Josh Douglas lost that big one in on the third day of the Open. Okay.
Yeah.
That pile, we've got some stuff that we have to run by, or you can stay within sight of that and see. That pile does not get 15 minutes of rest throughout the day.
Right.
And I like to fish. That pile's up in the Pulford Creek area, and I love to fish up there. And I spent, a majority of my day Thursday afternoon up there checking some grass, and Pulford should be kicking in, but it's not. But either way, I could see that pile. And I don't know if they took a lottery number to get to that pile. I don't know what it is, but that pile has not got any rest. It can't have any limbs left on it because they've got to be, majority of them broke off from being pulled off.
Exactly.
You're right there.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the question of the day, and we've kind of covered a little bit of it. How do you think the fishing will be for Bob Seeley this coming weekend? But mainly what we're looking at, Clayton, is what technique, if you were going over this weekend, you're trying to cash a check or maybe even just win it, is there a certain thing that we need to be doing?
How would you approach it? Would you be taking a rod and reel and going down the bank, or would you be out just trying to get away from the boats going down the bank? If we had to tell you had to fish it this weekend, and I said you have to fish between Umphrey and 147 Bridge, how would you approach the Seeley event this weekend?
Still, with the lake fishing like it is, I'd start off early with a whopper plopper, the big one, the 130 whopper plopper, or the 6 cent speed wake, something like that on top, or a black buzzbait.
Right.
Something like that until the sun starts getting up over the trees, and then after the sun gets up over the trees, there's a couple options. Number one, you pick a wacky worm up, which is people says I don't like it, but there will be some big fish caught on a wacky worm this weekend.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that. Yep.
You pick a wacky worm up, you go to fishing the clumps, you go to fishing out on the ridges where there's a little bit of short hydrilla, that or a lightweight Texas rig. That's another option. Or you go mix it with everyone else and hope that you hit a brush pile that has a big one that's moved up in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. When you put those boundaries on it, that would be it. If you know hard spots, if you know where, a stump is, absolutely, because the stumps right now are producing some isolated hard targets, as Keith Collins referred to them this week on Bassmaster when he was talking about what he did, because, yes, the piles or soft targets are getting hit so much. If you can find a stump here, a stump there, more especially one with the root system down in the forest area, over by the Amber Forest, over towards Indian and Harvey, if you can find those deals, the potential to catch a giant on an isolated stump would probably be better than to find one in a pile, because everybody's looking for the piles and not everybody's looking for the isolated stump.
Right.
One last question for you. Does it take a double-digit fish to win overall this weekend?
I don't think so. I think I really feel like we may see a 9.5 pounder. But I just really, of course, Raven can always fool you. I didn't think we'd see 31 yesterday, but Danny and Brian, they're just, they're freaks of nature when it comes to catching sacks like that.
Yeah.
Them guys are just unbelievable. My hats are off to them, but I still don't think you will see a double-digit fish this week.
Well, in the Outlaw Team Series Championship, I mean, the best of the best is on Rayburn right now, and all weekend with all you guys fishing, you had 2 8-pounders weighed.
That is correct. That's why I'm saying what I am. I just really don't believe you'll see a double-digit fish. Now, I could be this time next week. I'll be going, wow, they caught 3 10-pounders. But if they do, I'll just be blown away. I think you're going to see a lot of 4-pounders getting paid. I really do.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some 5-pounders and some mid to heavy 5s win some hours.
Really? Okay.
Now Clayton, one thing that Albert was really good about doing every time he's been on the show is emailing me and Kevin some GPS coordinates. So I don't know if you'll do the same. I don't know if you'll return that same favor or not, but we would greatly appreciate that.
Man, you remember those spots I was telling you we like to be seen on? I'll send you a whole list of those.
Like that Josh Douglas file, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you the Josh Douglas file as soon as we get off here.
I got enough of those kind of spots on my own.
Clayton, we appreciate you joining us, man, and kind of sharing some info with everybody getting ready to fish the Sealy's this weekend. But we sure appreciate it.
You bet, man, and I appreciate y'all inviting me.
Tell Albert we say hello.
I'll do it, man.
All right, man. Clayton Boulware, the second half, or I don't know, would you say the better half or the second half?
You're not getting me into that discussion. I can tell you that right now.
The dynamic duo of Clayton Boulware and Albert Collins, they've done extremely well over the years as a team, and one of the most respected teams, if not the most respected team on Sam Rayburn.
Two of the most respected men on Sam Rayburn. I mean, just take the team tournament out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And I've actually I watched Clayton the other night on a Texoma tournament, and did very well. So they did just great anglers. But thank you, Clayton, for joining us today. We appreciate it. Real quick, we've got some more sponsors we want to make sure we recognize. The Boat Shop is the first one.
Yes, sir. The Boat Shop, located at 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com.
3J's Four-Way and Cypress Knee Outdoors. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's Four-Way, and if you're looking for hunting, fishing, tackle, want to know what to be throwing around this neck of the woods, Cane River, Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, Red River, hey, John Abraham and his staff can point you in the right direction. Whether you're a bass angler, whether you're a crappie angler, they've got what you need. Hunting season's here, guys. Bow season's here. If you need bows, if you need a blind, a feeder, whatever you need, a deer stand, a lock on, they've got everything you need right there at Cypress Knee Outdoors. Ammunition, great selection of guns, shotguns, rifles. It's not too late. Now's a good time to go buy one. John will make you a great deal on a shotgun or rifle down there. So also, if you go back into 3J's Four-Way on your way out, stop by the deli, pick you up some of that, one of those good Crispitos. Don't just get one, get two, because trust me, it's worth it. Fried chicken, whatever they have on the deli that day, you'll enjoy it. It's just a great food. You can call them at 318-238-HUNT or stop by right there just south of Natchitoches at Cypress, what we call Four-Way, Louisiana. It's 1 mile east of I-49, exit 127. Or like I said, call them at 238-HUNT, 238-HUNT.
And last but not least, Pride Rods, American-made and custom-built right there in South Texas at Montgomery. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Mr. Gary Loomis. They carry all of your freshwater and saltwater applications for spinning and casting rods. Pride Rods, they definitely pass the eye test, but they surpass the test of performance even more. Stop by your local tackle store and pick one up, or simply ask about Pride Rods. You can also go online at priderods.com or call 832-418-6040 or 936-697-4149. And real quick, Steve, talking more about Pride Rods, there was a gentleman down in Texas, a son and father had some stuff stolen out of their boat, had all their tackle and gear, rods stolen out of their boat, and it was a big ordeal. It was on the news down there in Houston. Pride Rods donated 2 rods, one to father, one to son, for them to kind of get their tackle back going. So shout out to the guys down there at Pride Rods, and appreciate for all you guys do.
That's a good topic too, Kevin, that you just brought up. You know, it's that time of year, guys, and a lot of us are fishing later in the year this year because of COVID. A lot of tournaments have been postponed. Well, that's an opportunity for thieves. Christmas is right around the corner. A lot of those thieves are looking for a good opportunity, easy opportunities to make some quick money. So make sure if you leave your boat, especially at a motel, a resort, lock it up. Sure, some of them can be broke into, fairly easy, but they still got to put some effort into it to get it done. So I'm just telling you, lock your boats up when you leave them, because if you don't, you're liable to come back tackleless. And also a lot of things I do a lot. I take at least 5 to 7 rods inside my motel room, and I leave them in there just in case I was to get hit. I'm not completely without rod and reels for the next day. So take those precautions.
So let's go back to our question of the day. How would you approach this week's Sealy's Big Bass Splash? So I'm going to ask you 2 baits that you can fish with all weekend long for the Sealy's event right now.
I'm going to go to what I do best, and I'm going to go what I got confidence in, and mine's going to be a trick worm, and I'm going to have it rigged 2 baits, Texas rigged trick worm and a wacky worm, as Clayton alluded to. And the one thing I had a little success on 2 weeks ago in the BFL, especially in practice, was a weightless Cinco. Something that moves real slow, that doesn't have, I didn't get a lot of bites with a lot of action baits. My co-angler threw a wake bait almost half the day and never got a bite on it. So to me, they're just not really in the chasing mood right now. At least they wasn't when I was over there. Now that may change this weekend, but I'm just telling you, if that was me, that's the things that I'm going to throw.
Yeah. And for me, if you give me 2, being it's a big fish tournament, number one, I'm going to have a buzzbait.
Especially early.
And throw it, well, yes, but throw that thing all day.
Oh, yeah. You around that
especially
grass.
if you can get around some good grass, it's not getting beat to death. And number 2, it's not the greatest bite right now, but you can still get bit doing it, and that's a punch bait. For me, practicing for the BFL, I had a decent practice punching grass with a J-Bug, a Gleason Candy J-Bug, and I still think that's going to be a way that you can catch a big one and get paid with. If I go all day long throwing those 2 baits, I don't know if I would have 5, but I feel confident if I threw those 2 things all day long, I'm going to get a check, maybe 2. Yeah. I know it's really tough right now, but those 2 are just big fish baits.
Another bait, I'm like Kevin, and I did catch 2 of my keepers in the BFL punching, and I punched a baby swamp hog and a Gleason Candy. And and you can fish a lot of grass, guys, and not get a bite. And then all of a sudden you get 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Both of my bites were within 20 feet of each other. And I fished miles of grass after that, and it was just a struggle. But if you get the right spot and you drop that sucker on the right fish, and it could be be the one you want to win it. That's a great way to possibly win that tournament. So, but anyway, real quick, the Bassmaster Elite Series, they just came off of Gunnersville. And this
another tough event.
This is the NOCO Bassmaster Elite Tournament. Frank Talley won it with 64-3 for a $100,000 win. Randy Sullivan was second, just basically 2 pounds behind him at 61-15 for $25,000. Luke Palmer was third. Wes Logan, Kyle Welcher, Bob. I don't even know these guys.
Well, once you get on down, Stetson Blaylock was 7, Brandon Cobb, Scott Canterbury's 9.
But those first 6 guys?
Yeah, but Steve, 1 and 2's Texas boys. Frank is Longview Tyler.
Yeah, I know where they're from.
And Randy's from Texas, so
they're just not popular names
they're
yet.
Not. They're
but
not.
My point is, these guys know what they're doing, and they know how to fish. Just because you don't recognize their names yet, trust me, some of these guys are coming to the forefront. And all those elite guys left, I always said it's just like professional baseball. When those major leaguers went on strike, those AAA guys were licking their chops like, okay, y'all go ahead and go on strike.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of difference between those major leaguers and a AAA guy. So they just waiting on that opportunity. Well, so were these guys. They were just waiting on that opportunity. When those elite guys left, that elite 80, these guys have stepped up, and a lot of them are really good anglers. So these are names you're going to start hearing more often. Mm-hmm. And so congratulations to Frank Talley. Good job. Yeah. And but anyway, moving right along.
So, upcoming events, we've been talking about Rayburn's getting hammered. Well, Steve, the next 2 weeks, it's just going to keep getting hammered. So this week we have the Sealy's Big Bass Splash, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yep.
The next week, the Toyota Series Southwestern Division comes back to Rayburn. It will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that week, and of course, them guys will be practicing all week long. Probably will be on the water the weekend with the C League guys as well. So, for the next 2 weeks, Rayburn still won't get a break.
No. If you want to register for the Sealy, you can go online and do that. I know you can pick up applications at Academy. All the academies carry them. But it's $600,000 up for grabs. This is not just the fall shootout, which has been a 2-day event. They've combined their April tournament with this one. $600,000 up for grabs, $171,000 plus in hourly paybacks. So it's just a great opportunity to really cash in like the pros.
Yep. And Steve, I want to give a shout out to Outlaw Outdoors, Clint Wade, Stacy Spriggs. They just did their first team championship, first place, $20,000. Danny Isles and Brian Shook won. Nothing but great things I'm hearing coming from those guys. I fished several of their tournaments. I have not got to fish a team series tournament with them yet, but I have fished several of their Outlaw Outdoors tournaments. Do a great job, and I've heard all week how great the team championship was. They had a Calcutta the night before the tournament started. They did. They're doing things like it used to be done. A little different. Yeah. And I know they do the Calcutta with the little bracket tournament that they do in December.
Yeah.
So I heard everything went great. I want to say congratulations to them on their first year doing the team series. And I know it's bigger, better things to come for those. I know their 2021 schedule is out. Yeah. So if you want to get in on any of the Outlaw Outdoors tournament, make sure to go to their website. You can go to their Facebook page, check them out. Guys, if you want to fish a great team circuit here in East Texas at Sam Rayburn, you need to definitely make sure you give those guys over at Outlaw Outdoors a try.
Also, did you talk about the FOW Toyota Series?
Yes, coming the week after Big Bass Splash.
And then we got the ABA Ray Scott Championship, which is the Open Series Championship, will be taking place at Lake Hartwell, November 1st through the 7th. And so I'll be headed over there for that event in a couple of weeks. And once again, we apologize. We thought we'd have some really big news tonight, and it just didn't happen. Some things happen that are out of our control, and even the guy we were going to have on, it was out of his control. But we will have him on hopefully next week, or again, if it happens this week, we'll make a special trip up here. We'll do a quick show. We'll make a special announcement.
As soon as we get the green light to make that announcement, we will bring it to you guys. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that tonight. We apologize, but I do think it's a circuit that if you're a pro circuit, a pro-am type guy, this is something you want to check into for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna fill a niche that a lot of guys have been waiting on, and I'm telling you right now, I think it's going to be really big, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to how this thing progresses and what it could actually turn into down the road. So looking forward to getting that good news here pretty quick.
Thanks again to all of our sponsors.
Yeah.
The boat shop located up in Shreveport, Garmin dealer, Yamaha dealer as well. 3J's 4-way just right here south of Natchitoches, just off the interstate. So all you guys coming from South Louisiana, coming to Texas, or coming to Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by 3J's 4-way, and you can get stocked up on ice, food, tackle, anything there you need. Pride Rods, locally built, handmade right here in South Texas. Definitely want to try out the Pride Rod, Steve. I know you've been playing a little bit with our crankbait rod.
A little crankbait rod.
It's a good little rod. And our two newest sponsors, Keys Toledo Bend Tackle, located just across Pendleton Bridge, right there at Crease Creek. When I tell you he's got any and everything you need for Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn and Steve, he does his best to keep the pegs full.
Yeah, top name brands right there.
Absolutely. And then, last but not least, let me go through and make sure I pronounce it right. The Lakes Insurance Agency. I've been saying it wrong. Yeah. Right there in Nacogdoches, Mr. Clark Moore, local guide. It's definitely, give him if any insurance type needs you want, make sure you get a hold of them over there at the Lakes Insurance. They have all the social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. Give them, message them on there if you're interested and would like to get some insurance quotes.
And do us a favor. When you go to any of these sponsors, let them know where you heard about them. They like that feedback, and it helps us and helps the sponsor, gives the sponsor confidence that he's getting something out of us. So we want to make sure that you recognize us and recognize the fact that you recognize the sponsor as well, and come in there and shop and let them know that Tackle Talk Live sent you. So we really would appreciate that. And again, if you want a sponsor, you're interested in being a sponsor, make sure you contact us through our Facebook page, message us, and we will be more than happy. And also on our YouTube channel, click subscribe. Make sure you click subscribe so you'll get notices when we're going to make a special announcement. We'll make sure that you're notified in advance so you can be ready when that happens. So once again, thank you for tuning us in. We can't say thank you enough. We really appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals. Looking forward to seeing you next week about this same time, but we may be at noon. So once again, we'll let you know on our Facebook page what time we're coming on next week. Maybe 12 o'clock, maybe back to our 12 o'clock time next week. So if you, again, like usual, if you want to continue to be a better angler and become a better angler, you've got to watch Tackle Talk Live. Thank you.